And it's time now to conclude our look at the year's best books. And joining us as she does each Friday at this time is Elena from the Napa Book Mine with our book talk show. Good morning.
Good morning. I've actually got new stuff this time.
Oh, it's new stuff this time.
It is.
Oh, I see. We've already covered all the best of 2018. So we're ready to turn the page, pun intended, toward a new year. All right. How do we begin?
That somebody might want to add to their New Year's resolution list. This book is called Kakebo, the Japanese wasteful spending. Oftentimes people put, saving more money, doing better with money, budgeting as their New Year's resolution. And this traditional Japanese method of tracking your expenses and saving money is starting to come into popularity here. So it's just basically like a journal, and it's daily, but it's not dated, so you can start it at any time. It's a way to control your spending, save money, regain peace of mind, and make your life a little bit happier, a little bit healthier. A lot of us live with the stress of money, and it affects repairs, tuition, taxes, that sort of thing. You set a monthly budget at the beginning of each month. You enter in your fixed incoming funds and outgoing expenses, and then you set a savings target. And each day you record those expenses, and by keeping close tabs on what you're spending, you're able to identify where you're wasting money and see the most significant areas where you can make adjustments. It also has practical and motivating tips that can teach you how to save more money successfully. It isn't just about money, of course. It helps develop self-awareness, self-discipline, self-esteem, and promotes peace of mind. This is, again, a traditional method that's been used in Japan for many, many years. It probably also sounds familiar. It seems like a pretty common sense way to do things. But it helps you with, it's got beautiful colors, it's got nice graphics, it's got these tips. I think it could be a really good way for people who are hoping to get a little bit better with their money this coming year to pick it up and learn a little bit about how to make a budget, how to save, and see where all their money is going. Sometimes it's really hard to tell. Perfect for young people trying to learn how to make a budget, newlyweds hoping to plan for a future together, or even just to teach kids how to control their own money and save a little bit. Mm-hmm. So Kakebo, we've got it at both stores, perfect for your New Year's resolution.
All right. It's that time of year, and it's that moment when you realize you used to have money, and then Christmas came, and you don't. So
right.
You figure out why. All right. So that's book number 1 for today. We're moving on. We've got interesting book of history.
Yeah, this is an interesting book. We sold it well in hardcover, so I wanted to let people know that it is now out in paperback. This is an African-American and Latinx history of the United States by Paul Ortiz. It's an intersectional history of the shared struggle for African-American and Latinx civil rights. It spans more than 200 years, and it's a revolutionary, definitely politically charged narrative history arguing that the global South is crucial to the development of America as we know it. Paul Ortiz is a scholar and an activist who's challenging the notion of westward progress that is exalted by widely taught formulas like manifest destiny or Jacksonian democracy, things that we all learned about in school here in America, and shows how placing African-American, Latinx, and indigenous voices unapologetically front and center transforms U.S. history into one of the working class organizing against imperialism. Drawing on rich narratives and primary source documents, he links racial segregation in the Southwest and the rise and violent fall of a powerful tradition of Mexican labor organizing in the 20th century to May 1st, 2006, which is known as International Workers' Day, when migrant laborers united in resistance on the first day without immigrants. As African-American civil rights activists fought Jim Crow laws, and Mexican labor organizers warred against capitalism, Black and Spanish language newspapers, abolitionists, and Latin American revolutionaries coalesced around movements built between people from the U.S. and people from Central America and the Caribbean. In stark contrast to the resurgence of America First rhetoric, Black and Latinx intellectuals and organizers today have historically urged the United States to build bridges of solidarity with the nations of the Americas. Obviously, this is a very incisive, very timely, bottom-up history told from the interconnected vantage points of Latinx and African Americans, and it reveals the radically different ways that people of the diaspora have addressed issues still plaguing the U.S. today, and offers a way forward in the continued struggle for universal civil rights. A different way of looking at U.S. history, and something that I think a lot of people are looking for these days, and feeling like we've gotten kind of a one narrative view of the history of our country, and this helps fill a gap in that.
Yeah, really interesting, and I was just thinking kind of a book that might never have even been published a generation ago, you know?
Definitely, yeah.
Very good. On to a piece of fiction.
Yes, I wanted to talk about Milkman. People are really excited about this book. It is a paperback original, which is kind of rare these days, and it won the Man Booker Prize, and nobody had ever really heard of it. It hadn't even been published in the U.S. yet, and the first things that came out about it were that it's really, really difficult, and it's very hard to read. So, of course, that's intriguing to a lot of people. They want to find out what it's about. We already have a bunch of book clubs who are reading it, and our bookseller, Kelsey, has started it. And she says that, yes, the writing takes a bit to get used to, but once you've got the rhythm of it, it's really, really fantastic. So here's the plot. In an unnamed city, middle sister stands out for the wrong reasons. She reads while walking, for one, and she's been taking French classes downtown. So when a local paramilitary named Milkman begins pursuing her, she suddenly becomes interesting, which is the last thing she ever wanted to be. Despite her attempts to avoid him and to keep her mother from finding out about this maybe boyfriend, rumors spread and the threat of violence lingers. Milkman is a story about the way inaction can have enormous repercussions in a time when the wrong flag, wrong religion, or even a sunset can be subversive. Told with ferocious energy and sly, wicked humor, Milkman establishes Anna Burns as one of the most consequential voices of our day. If you want to start off your fiction reading this year with something a little bit difficult and challenging, but I think worth it in the end, Milkman should be your first choice.
Okay, so once you're out of that, holiday simple-minded mood, and you're ready for, knuckle down, read more seriously in the new year.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. Your book on cooking and wine category, it's all about cookies.
It is. It is all about Colossal cookies. And I'm not exaggerating here. These cookies are the size of a dinner plate. They're huge.
What the?
So the author, Wendy, her boyfriend once tried to limit her cookie intake to 1, so she found a loophole. She made 1 cookie that equals the size of 10. Since then, she's been baking treats big enough to share with a crowd, and they really are enormous. I mean, the picture on the front of this cookbook is somebody holding up one of these cookies, and their hand is dwarfed by it. They're just enormous. So think size of a single-layer cake, but with the chewy consistency of a soft cookie. So if cookie is your favorite dessert, let me tell you, this is the book to get. I have a copy, actually, so does Kelsey, who's our resident baker. We haven't been brave enough to try them, but they look absolutely incredible. You have recipes like Colossal double chocolate chip cookie stuffed with marshmallow, or there's the red velvet cookie with white chocolate chunks, or you can keep things a little lighter with the raspberry rose or lemon apricot plate-sized cookie, or make me bake a couple for your kid's soccer team. See how quickly you become the favorite parent. It also includes a section of recipes that rely on boxed mixes to make it even easier to whip up one of these things. Just, for your average nighttime dessert. Just serve your family a massive plate-sized cookie. It's got 60 recipes. All of them have photos. There's techniques, tips, and equipment lists. So if you're going to go out on your New Year's resolution early this year, go out strong with Colossal Cookies by Wendy Co.
Okay. We all need this right after Christmas, right? As a giant cookie.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever you say. Now, something for the kids.
Something for your kids. This is a really, really sweet picture book. It's called Little Owls, by Divya Srinivasan. This is the third book, actually. Little Owl's Night and Little Owl's Day might be familiar to some parents out there. It's all about winter. He's really, really excited. Winter's almost here as Little Owl observes leaves falling and animal friends start to hibernate and then chill all the way from his feathers to his feet. And just as he and his friend Raccoon are watching them breath make fog in the cold air, it happens. No! Here's the perfect follow-up to those very cute little books and a wonderful introduction to the changing of the seasons. Now, we don't get any snow here, but a lot of us do head up to Tahoe or elsewhere to find the snow. So this would be a really cute book to take on your trip up there, introducing your kids to snow for the first time. This is one of Naomi's favorite picture books of the second half of the year, and it really is just absolutely adorable. This little owl has the biggest eyes you've ever seen. It's very cute, very sweet. It teaches little ones all about the changing of the season.
All right. How nice. What a great way to wrap up the show for today. Book Talk with Elena from the Napa Book Mine, which obviously you're open for business.
We are indeed.
On Pearl Street and at the Oxbow Market, right?
Yep.
Okie dokie. We'll see you next Friday.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye. There you have it, 8:21 now on the KVON Morning Show for Friday, December 28th. And let's see, what's up next? Well, we'll find out. Why don't you stick around? You'll find out with me when we return after these messages.